Alright, hello and welcome back to Ashgabat Cats, now in English. Today we're taking a look at Nagatsu wo Haita Neko Sekai Issue 80 Nichi Daibuken. Hachpun Nichi Daibuken. Anyway, today's translation has been brought to us by Psyklax. We don't even have to click on his name, we already know it's the Conan guy. But we'll show that picture once again, because again, this is a pretty cute picture of Conan. And so the game is now called Puss in Boots Around the World in 80 Days. So now, you don't have to say what I just said. There is a one-player and a two-player mode. I will play the one-player mode, but I appreciate the thought. So, Puss in Boots Around the World. For those of you not in the know, Puss in Boots was not originally a Shrek property. He was a fairy tale. I actually forget how the fairy tale goes, and now I'm just gonna confuse it with Around the World in 80 Days. So, Puss in Tales tells the tale of a cat who makes a bet with a fellow adventurer cat that he can make it around the world in 80 days, and the fellow adventurer cat says, "No way, that's impossible." But Puss in Boots has a magical futuristic technology under his sleeve. That's right, he has a hot air balloon. Never before has such an unprecedented travel technology come to fore. And so, Puss in Boots uses this to travel the world in 80 days, getting into all sorts of scrapes and misadventures along the way. Does he win the bet? I remember reading that book as a kid, but I don't actually remember the ending, so I will forever live in suspense. As far as the game itself, I don't want to just call it Mario with guns, but if you were to call it Mario with guns, you wouldn't be in it. Well, that's... I don't know if what I'm doing is correct, or if I just have... Okay, sure, we'll go with that. I mean, Magic Mania Mickey Missile for the Genesis, Mickey's Castle or something. It also had an effect like that, right? Where the screen suddenly turns grayscale? That's got to be a normal person thing, right? That's not like a glitched game. That's not like it'll jump out of the screen and curse all of my descendants. Okay. Initially, I thought this was a quick little Mario game, and while Mario does have boss fights, it does not have surprise dragon boss fights. Let's see, where in the world is Puss in Boots? I guess some sort of I'll tell you where in the world Puss in Boots is. He is at the beginning of the level. So, let's try playing this in fast forward. Of course, I put the game in Okay, I don't think I can beat this in fast forward. So I'm gonna play this in regular speed, and I'll jump back to where I was. Oh, okay, just in case you can't read maps, it tells you at the top of the screen, we're in England. Oh, that's kind of clever. So we don't have like 5 lives or however many Mario lives Mario started out with. We have 80 days. And so now, we've died about, 3 times. And so now we're on 76 days left. So if you're too bad at the game, Puss in Boots is too slow to complete his adventure. And he ends up giving the other adventurer cat his entire lifehood fortune. You don't want that to happen, right? Puss in Boots has to have more money so he can continue on adventuring. So, keep him alive. This reminds me of that one time when I played, like, Pitfall Harry the Mayan Adventure, and then I kind of, like I think I saw some screenshots of the game before I even had the game. Again, this was on the Game Boy Advance. No, that was actually pretty cool. I was looking forward to that game. When I actually played it, I realized all of my hopes were instantly dashed and that I should not have been looking forward to this game. But for a brief second, I was. And I kind of hallucinated that, like, instead of a live system, there was, like, a generation system. And so, when Pitfall Harry dies, then it's like, oh, it's up to his son to come in. And so it's like, You get like 5 lives or something because it's like 5 people in the generation or something. Or 5 people in the lineage. Well, the monochrome effect happened again, thus leading credence to the fact that it is actually a normal thing and not a horrible programming error. Although, I bet there's still a, hey, did we, 74 days, did that monochrome take an entire day to walk? This is not a terribly forgiving game. I mean, you'd think like 80 lives, okay, that's a ton, but I don't think it's 80 lives. Oh, the timer is the time. Okay, that's a more reasonable sort of thing. Okay, now, I'd like to chase this dragon, but I'm pretty sure it's an illusion. Oh, the little guy takes me back to the beginning of England, obviously hired by my nemesis to keep me down. Also, speaking of games that have a generational aspect, in fact, the same generational system that I hallucinated existed, Rogue Legacy. It's a roguelike where you're exploring a dungeon, but when you die, then your next of kin takes up the journey. And so, you don't necessarily have like a Hall of Fame, you just have a family tree of everybody who tried to explore the dungeon. Well, and the fact that they're on the family tree and not on the victory screen means that they died. But let's ignore that part. I mean, you don't ever look at your family tree and think, oh man, this is actually a listing of everybody who died. Because if they were alive, they wouldn't bother making a family tree. Actually, the logistics of family trees are actually a very weird thing. Because if you think about it, like, there's only one person in a family who really wants to make a family tree. Like, I feel like it's just one of those things that it appeals to, like, a very specific type of person. But families typically don't have that many types of people. That many of that type of person in their families. And so you get the family tree, but it's all kind of made by just one person. But it's like everybody's family has that one family tree guy. And then they go around to the family reunions and let everybody know. It's just kind of weird like that. Are you that guy? Are you making a family tree for your family? If so, that's pretty cool actually. Oh no. So I just looked at P equals 2. And so I thought days were the only resource that I could deplete. Oh, maybe P is like my life? Oh, okay. So I guess P is my hits that I can take. So somehow I've managed to deplete both the time limit and the hits I could take. And I was like, oh geez, that's not a good thing. So I just collected a shoe and I got a 1-up, but it's like 1-ups don't do anything for me. I need to make it to the end of the world in 80 days. It doesn't matter how many hits I have. You can't give me extra time back, can you? You can't get a power up. It's like, oh, it's a time machine actually. Now you're back in time. Oh, so those times when I run straight into the fish, that's actually bad for me. How much you want to bet that when you collect that monochrome power-up, it's like Zawaldo, and then it just kind of freezes everything? I hope you didn't bet on that, because you would have lost your money. Because those enemies were moving at the end. Although, no enemies move immediately while the world is monochrome. So, perhaps there is some credence to that theory. Did you see that? He changed up his attack pattern. This dragon means business. And you know what? So do I. Let's get dangerous. I just realized, you can see the timer ticking down, so you can actually get a sense of how long it's been since I've done a cut. I mean, of course I could always embed a timestamp of the source time stamp. And so you can actually get a sense from that there. But it's still kind of cool to think about. It's like, now you can actually perceive my time spent on this game. Oh, I did it. Did you see that? I saw that. Oh my god. Oh my god. Well, time's... Oh, no, time stopped. So no time a wasting. I finally have some time. The Atlantic Ocean. Okay, welcome back to Puss in Boots. Sorry, I lost a lot of steam. It's been 7 days since I last talked. And, well, you know, you get a little rusty when you haven't talked for 7 days. Well, have you ever tried not talking for 7 days? Have you ever tried not talking for 1 day? Well, as putting aside the fact that if you're not talking for a whole day, then you may in fact be crazy. Oh man, it is weird. Like, you go back and you have to talk, and then it's just, how do you do this again? And then you feel almost like a baby. At least babies, though, have people who are willing to teach them how to talk again. For you were just stuck, learning how to talk all over again. Hey, no sharks from behind. Well, at least the shark came at me from ahead, and so that's entirely Well, usually I go until I get bored, but I guess this time the game got bored of me. That's impressive. Oh, I get it. It was made by Toei Animation, so the Puss in Boots is the Toei character. Yeah, I'm not playing right now. I'm not that much of a glutton for punishment, so this is the demo screen. Now let's see if this is one of those demos that's good at the game, or if it's bad at the game. But, oh my gosh, this game. Yeah, well, maybe it just, I don't know, it's one of those demos that doesn't even make it to the end. Thanks, demo. But yeah, I'm not even actually sure why the game ended. I mean, all I had done was use a bunch of days. And I mean, it looks like, okay, so hits, it's like, okay, you take 5 hits, you die, but then you restart at the end of the level. And 80 days, maybe I just died so many times that the game decided it's like, there's no way you can go around the world in 80 days, we're just cutting you off right now. But, I mean, have you seen that first level, though? It's just so darn long. And there's, like, just so much stuff that you can't, like, quite avoid. Like, okay, if you memorize the precise location where those 2 fish jump out of the bridge to get you, then, like, okay, you can kind of make it to the end without getting hit. And, okay, now that you've made it to the end without getting hit, a Herculean task though it may be, can you defeat the dragon? And so, as we saw, like, even learning how to defeat the dragon took a fair bit of, you know, trial and error. Because, I mean, I tried jumping over the shots, getting close to the dragon, but then the screen stopped scrolling, and then it was just the dragon. So I was like, okay, maybe that's not it. And then I got hit and I died. And then 10 days later, I came back and I just kept shooting at the dragon from a distance. It didn't seem like it was doing anything. I mean, it seemed like the dragon was entirely impervious to my shots, but nope, I killed him. I wasn't expecting it either, but I killed the dragon. I completed level 1. Can you complete level 1? Give this game a try. I don't know. It's okay. The music does wear on you, but after a while you just start focusing and you don't even hear the music anymore. Still, Puss in Boots, around the world in 80 days. You might think this is a Super Mario clone, but no, it's its own thing. It's its own thing. Well, the game got bored of me, and I'll return the favor. So on that note, this cat's got a scat.